So you stop going to the gym. You stop waking up early, you stop eating healthy, you even stop caring about that business, and you think you're gonna wait till next month to restart. Or you're gonna wait till next year, but I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna start now. Why? Because I'm going to teach you how to get out of the habit of breaking your healthy habits. You still have 11 months left to become a new you, to change your identity, to make more money, to get a better body, all these things, and I'm going to explain to you how to do that. First, do something, right? You're not trying to become the habit, you're trying to become the type of individual that does the habit. I say that to say, and this is not the most, one of my brightest hours, I personally don't lotion when I get out the shower. And I only lotion parts that people are gonna see. I'm not gonna lie to you. And especially because it's winter time and I'm bundled up, nobody sees my elbows, nobody sees my kneecaps, you get the message, right? And so I'm trying to build the habit of lotioning. It might not seem like a big thing to some people, but if you see what I look like without these pants on. Anyways, I say that to say, I'm trying to build that habit, but I know that I'm not a full body lotioner, but I'm trying to get into it. So literally what do I do, and I have been doing, when I get out the shower, squeeze some lotion on, put it down my legs or put it on my arms. I'm done. Do something. Instead of feeling like and having the pressure of going to the gym and going on all the machines. I tell you all the time, go to the gym, go on a treadmill for 5 minutes. I know it may seem embarrassing. I know it may seem dumb, but just get into the habit of doing that thing, because there are gonna be days where you're not gonna wanna do it, but simply just do it. Just go to the gym, just walk around really quick, just cook one meal a day, and your one meal a day can be something very easy, right? I promise y'all, I just ate one of the easiest meals: rice, ground beef, and spinach. It was pretty good, but it was so easy to make. Like, don't feel like you have to make a full course meal. Do not feel like you have to, you get what I'm saying? Not even like that, but like that. I didn't even really have to make a meal. I would have been proud of myself if I would have just made the rice or just made the ground beef. I say that to say, get into the habit of developing those habits. Don't focus on the habit, focus on becoming the kind of person that does that thing. So I say that to say, do something. Do not get into the habit of not doing anything at all because you feel like, oh, I can't fully do this, or I can't do this at full max. It's okay. You're just starting out, you're just becoming that person, but just do something. Now, going into the second part, not every single day you're gonna feel like doing that thing. I understand. But as many of us know, no matter how long you've been doing something, it takes one day to stop. You've been going to the gym consistently, you miss one day, and then it turns into 1 month, and then it turns into 1 year. You've been eating healthy. You miss one day, it turns into 1 month and 1 year. It happens to the best of us. I say that to say, do not miss 2 consecutive days in a row. So you might not want to do it one day, or you might have a busy schedule, or it's so many things going on. It's all right. Don't miss 2 consecutive days in a row. And like I said before, missing is not doing it at all. So at least do something. The thing is, you don't want to get your body in the habit of like, oh, well, I missed one day, so now I'm not that person. No, you miss one day and things happen. So if you miss 2 days, then it kind of registers to your body like, okay, well, I'm not this kind of person. I don't do this kind of thing. This is not a habit for me. Let's get rid of it. So put it into your mind, I'm never gonna miss 2 days in a row. That's very imperative to think about and try not to do. Do not miss 2 days in a row. You might miss one day, but do not miss 2 consecutive days in a row, and at least do something. And when it comes into, missing days, one of the mindsets I often tell individuals to have is the days that you don't do those habits, the days that you essentially don't do what you're supposed to do, ask yourself, what will your life look like if you keep repeating these days next year? So if the day that you had, if you keep repeating that day over and over and over, because sometimes, I get it, we become tired, there's a lot going on, you don't want to do something, and you're just like, ugh, I don't want to do it. Before you end that day, I want you to ask yourself, or even when you're going into the second day, right? So that first day you might miss it. When you're going into that second day and you're like, you know what? Do I want to do this again? I don't know. Ask yourself, what will your life look like if you keep on repeating those days? Will your life be progressive? Would you have progress? Or would you be where you are now, if not worse? That's something that I really want people to think about. And I ask myself often when I want to do things, and also when I don't want to do things. Like, what will my life look like if I keep repeating this day, if I had to repeat this day every single day for the next year? Now, another thing I want people to really focus on is not focusing on their misses. A lot of times when you miss a habit, like I said, going back to missing that day, you focus on that thing. I want you to focus on the next thing, focus on the next day, focus on the next moment. Stop focusing on, first and foremost, the past, which you didn't do, and then focusing on quote unquote your mistakes. And that's what we often do. And so we convince ourselves that, oh, well, yeah, I did this, so I'm not that kind of person that works out because I missed the day, or I did this, so I'm not that kind of person. Acknowledge that you make mistakes. Acknowledge you're not always going to be perfect and you're going to learn and all these other things, but also go into it with the mindset and the outlook of like, you know what? I'm not focusing on that. Like, I'm a big advocate of like, don't get me wrong, when I'm in my feelings, when I'm in whatever I'm feeling, I allow myself to feel that way. I never allow myself to repeat 2 days. I never allow myself to have one bad day and then have another bad day. Like, because I actually brush that day out of my mind. Like, okay, I experienced it, it happened, it's gone. What a lot of people do is you focus on the stuff that you missed or you didn't do or that bad feeling, and so you don't realize you start projecting that out in your actions, right? I recently had a situation where me and my friends, we went bowling, right? And so the first round I won, so I had a big confidence. And the second round when we went, it was me and my friend, and we kind of were like neck and neck with the points. And long story short, we weren't really paying attention, and she had bowled for me on accident. And I think she hit one pin or she guttered. It was one or the other, and I was so mad because, mind you, this is the friend we were neck and neck at. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like you messed me up, like da-da-da. Now in hindsight, we probably just could have had her bowl again, because you could bowl twice if you're like familiar with it. You bowl once and then you could try again, and then me bowl for her, and then we just switched the points. But I say that to say I was pissed, right? Because I'm like, oh my, mind you, I'm kind of a competitive person, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you bowled for me, you messed me up. Mind you, I was doing pretty good to decent, we were neck and neck. And she was like, oh my bad, like I didn't notice. Like it generally was a mistake, we generally weren't paying attention. And so when it's my turn to go, because like I said, you get 2 turns when you bowl. You go the first time, and if you don't miss nothing, get nothing, or you miss something, you go a second time. So the second time I went for myself. And mind y'all, I was doing pretty good before. I literally gutter balled. And I was even more mad. And she ended up going after me because it was her turn. And I think she got a strike after. I say that to say I was focusing on the last thing that happened. I was focusing on the fact that now my points were lower because she had gutter for me. I was focusing on that thing, that so much so that it distracted me from actually doing what I was doing, which was getting them balls down. Second, let me stop. But I was doing good. I say that to say, if you focus so much on what you missed, if you focus so much on what what you could have done or what could have, you're gonna stay in the could have, and you don't realize it, but like your life becomes a could have. I could have started that business. I could have worked out. I could have. Okay, but you didn't. So stop focusing on the past and focus on the next time. Hey, the next day, I'm gonna come hard. You know what, I wasn't able to go to the gym today, but tomorrow I'm definitely, do not get into the habit of staying in the habit that you missed. And finally, get a habit tracker, right? Because another thing people have to realize too is like, if you're trying to become this person, you're trying to develop this habit, you're trying to whatever, you're not used to that thing. Like, acknowledge you're not used to that thing. And a lot of times it's not even that you purposely didn't do that thing, you literally just forgot. And so I even recommend individuals to have a habit tracker, and that may look different for different individuals. Maybe you can have an app on your phone. Maybe you can have, what I also have is like one of those big calendars, put it on your wall and write an X so you literally can see how long you've had the habit. Maybe inside of your schedule you have, a habit. I've even heard some people have like a physical habit tracker. So maybe you have, a cute little vase or a clear vase or something like that. And then every time you do a habit, you put something inside of the vase, like, so you can visually see like your progression. And I don't know, you can put like little marbles in it or M&Ms, or I don't know, that's just an example. I say that to say, have a habit tracker so you're keeping yourself aware of this habit. Now that's partially like, okay, you already have to know the habit that you have to do, but literally, you know, writing it down. How often am I doing said thing, right? And I think that's very important because like I said, you often forget certain things. And then sometimes you just need a little bit of motivation. Like visual motivation actually can be pretty good. Don't just only rely on like mental motivation. I feel like we always convince ourselves we have to be so mentally strong and have mental motivation. Sometimes you may need a little bit of visual motivation, and your visual motivation may not necessarily mean your waist is getting slim right now, may not necessarily mean you're making that much money, you know, on that business right now, but there's another way you can show to yourself like, hey, I am progressing, I am moving towards something else. So at the end of the year or at the end of the month or at whatever, you know, when you can look at that thing and be like, dang, I got all those X's on my calendar. Oh dang, that whole vase is filled up with this or that. I think that's another thing to have too. Different ways to have it, but just have some way of having a habit tracker. Like I said, you can have it on your phone, your iPad, you even can have it on your laptop. Have a habit tracker to become aware of these habits, because sometimes we forget them, and then sometimes we just need a little bit of motivation around them. And that's about it. So I do understand, right, that, you know, we have habits and, you know, we may start them, we may stop them, we may go, we may not. But I think one thing it's imperative for you to understand is that you're becoming this person. Like, this is not normal for you. This is new to you. So you are going to fall. You are going to make mistakes. And a lot of us don't have people that are like, yes, keep going, or little pats on the back to make us feel good. So we have to give that to ourselves. But I want you to be happy first and foremost that you're taking the step to actually become a better person, and realize, yes, you are gonna fall. Yes, you are gonna dust, you know, bruise up your knees and scratch yourself, but understand that doing something is better than doing nothing, no matter how big or how small it is. And just like I always say in a lot of my videos, just figure out what direction you want your life to go in, because your life is always going in a direction. And if you're trying to do healthy habits, you're trying to do good habits, your life is probably going in a better direction than it was, contrary to you not doing those things. So thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.